Stop. Don't scroll. Your hands did something your mind didn't even record as important, but the courts of heaven have it documented in gold. You are not here by chance. You are here because you hosted a guest you didn't recognize, and now the host of heaven has a word prepared for your next 72 hours. Someone you crossed paths with, a stranger in need, or perhaps a sudden delay that forced you to extend a cup of cold water. That moment wasn't a coincidence. It was an appointment. And because of how you responded, a legal release has been triggered in the spiritual realm over your life. You've felt it, haven't you? That physical weight on your shoulders lately, as if you are wearing a heavy coat that is too thick for the current season. You thought it was stress. You thought it was the beginning of a burnout. But I am here to tell you that this is the kavod, the weight of the glory from the encounter you hosted without knowing. You have been walking like a sentinel, guarding everyone else's peace, while your own soul is on permanent alert. You lay down at night, but your mind continues to patrol your problems, waking you up at exactly 3 o'clock for the last 3 nights, because the spirit of the sentinel is restless. And the hardest part is what happens when you walk through your own front door. You are bringing that sentinel's weight home with you. Your spouse sees the wall you've built, not to keep them out, but to protect them from the battles they don't know you're fighting. And yet, they feel the distance. Your children have stopped asking for your full attention because they can see your eyes are elsewhere, fixed on a horizon of worries you can't quite name. Even your grandchildren feel your touch, but they can't find your presence. You are hosting the world's burdens, and it has made you a stranger at your own table. Before we go any further, I need you to make a decree of positioning. This is not for me. It is for the atmosphere around you. Type "I am here" in the comments right now. Do it as an act of spiritual presence. By typing those words, you are telling the enemy and the heavens that you are no longer drifting in exhaustion, but you are standing at your post, ready to receive the commission that is attached to the angel you saved. Because you are carrying this weight home, this heaviness that makes your spouse silent and your children distant, there is something Solomon recorded about the code of true wisdom that I must show you later. It is the only way to stop being a weary laborer and start being a reigning child of the King. I will show you how the code of Solomon's wisdom can bridge the gap between your secret service and your visible reward. But before I hand you that instrument, I must show you exactly where you have been standing. I haven't told you the most important thing yet, but I will. In the next few minutes, I am going to deliver a 3-part promise to you that will seal what was opened today. First, I will give you a specific diagnosis of why the last 4 months felt like a desert of silence, even though your spirit was working overtime. I will describe a specific night, a specific decision, and a specific conversation that you thought was lost, but was actually being recorded in the golden record of heaven. Second, I will deliver the concrete revelation of the Hebrew word shamar, the secret of the sentinel. There are 3 layers to this word that no one has taught you, and when I reveal the 3rd layer, you will understand exactly which reflex of kindness you showed that caught the eye of the Father. This is the moment your exhaustion finally begins to make sense. Third, and most importantly, I will end this word by declaring 3 specific names of identity over you. These are not generic blessings, they are commissions. One is a name of permanence, one is a name of authority, and the last is a name that will make the enemy envious of the harvest you are about to guard. This is the sealing of your mantle. But hear me clearly. If you leave this video before the 3rd name is spoken, you leave the seal unfinished and your assignment exposed to the spirit of weariness that wants you to drop your shield. There is a sound of a door locking perfectly in the spirit right now. The gate that was stuck is finally being cleared of the dust from a traveler's sandals. You thought you were just being a good person, but you were actually acting as a host of heaven. Stay with me, because in 3 minutes, I will tell you the exact time of night you've been waking up and what the angel has been waiting for you to say at that threshold. The silence is about to break. Stop. Don't scroll. Your hands did something your mind didn't even record as important, but the courts of heaven have it documented in gold. You are not here by chance. You are here because you hosted a guest you didn't recognize. And now the host of heaven has a word prepared for your next 72 hours. Someone you crossed paths with, a stranger in need, or perhaps a sudden delay that forced you to extend a cup of cold water, that moment wasn't a coincidence. It was an appointment. And because of how you responded, a legal release has been triggered in the spiritual realm over your life. You've felt it, haven't you? That physical weight on your shoulders lately, as if you are wearing a heavy coat that is too thick for the current season. You thought it was stress. You thought it was the beginning of burnout. But I am here to tell you that this is the kavod, the weight of the glory from the encounter you hosted without knowing. You have been walking like a sentinel, guarding everyone else's peace while your own soul is on permanent alert. You lay down at night, but your mind continues to patrol your problems, waking you up at exactly 3 o'clock for the last 3 nights, because the spirit of the sentinel is restless. It is not just your body. It is your mind at the threshold of every choice. You find yourself hesitating over decisions that should be simple, paralyzed by a pattern you've seen before. You made a choice last week, a move involving your resources, or a person you trusted, and the very next day it felt like ash in your mouth. You see the same cycle repeating in different rooms with different faces, as if you've diagnosed the leak in your life but lack the tool to plug it. You are moving in urgency because you cannot wait for the clarity that seems to be hiding just beyond your reach. The hardest part is what happens when you walk through your own front door. You are bringing that sentinel's weight home with you. Your spouse has learned to stop asking how your day was because they can read the answer in the heavy silence you wear like armor. Your children have stopped bringing their small stories to you because they see your eyes are fixed on a horizon of worries they can't name. Even your grandchildren feel your hand on their head, but they can't find your presence in the room. You are hosting the world's burdens, and it has made you a stranger at your own table, discharging a weight onto those you love most. Before we go any further, I need you to make a decree of positioning. This is not for me, it is for the atmosphere around you. Type, "I am here," in the comments right now. Do it as an act of spiritual presence. By typing those words, you are telling the enemy and the heavens that you are no longer drifting in exhaustion. But you are standing at your post, ready to receive the commission that is attached to the angel you saved. This is the moment you reclaim your seat at the table of revelation, where the silence of the last few months is about to be broken. I am going to deliver a 3-part promise to you that will seal what was opened in the heavens today. First, I will give you a specific diagnosis of where you have really been for the last 4 months. I will show you why it felt like a desert of silence, even though your spirit was working overtime. You will recognize yourself not in generalities, but in the specifics. The specific night you almost gave up, the specific decision that cost you your sleep, and the specific conversation you thought was lost, but was actually being recorded in the golden record of heaven. Second, I will deliver the concrete revelation of the Hebrew word shamar, the secret of the sentinel. There are 3 layers to this word that no one has taught you, and when I reveal the 3rd layer, you will understand exactly which reflex of kindness you showed to a stranger that caught the eye of the Father. This is the moment your exhaustion finally stops being a burden and starts being a bridge. You will receive this decodification right here, in this video, without having to move from the place where you are currently watching, as a direct release for your weary soul. Third, and most importantly, I will end this word by declaring 3 specific names of identity over you. These are not generic blessings. They are commissions from the courts of heaven. 1 is a name of permanence, 1 is a name of authority, and the last is a name that will make the enemy envious of the harvest you are about to guard. This is the sealing of your mantle. Hear me clearly. If you leave this message before the 3rd name is spoken, you leave the seal unfinished and your assignment exposed to the spirit of weariness. Stay with me until the end to receive the full seal. You are like a seed buried deep in the frozen ground during the height of winter. To the world above, the field looks dead, hard and silent. There is no green shoot, no evidence of life, no sign that anything was ever planted there. But that seed wasn't dropped by accident. It was placed there by hands that knew exactly what they were carrying. It is in the dark, under the pressure of the cold earth, that the shell begins to break so the life inside can take root. You have felt like that seed, buried, forgotten, hands squeezed by the weight of the season. But the hands that planted you haven't forgotten the coordinates of the field. The ground is hard not to trap you, but to protect the transformation happening in the secret place. What you've been calling a bad season is actually the necessary pressure of the winter that prepares the harvest for the spring. Every prayer you whispered in the dark and every act of service you did when no one was looking is a root growing deeper into the promise. You are not dying in the dirt. You are being prepared to host a fruitfulness that the surface world isn't ready for yet. The truth is, you haven't been fighting poorly. You have been fighting with a courage that has kept your house standing while your own spirit was crumbling. But you have been fighting without the instrument that was promised to you, a tool you don't even know exists yet. Imagine a builder trying to raise a temple with his bare hands, or a soldier defending a gate with no sword. That is why you are so tired. It's not a lack of faith, it's a lack of the specific tool designed for the sentinel. I have come to put that map, that key, that compass in your hand today. And because you are bringing this sentinel's weight home, this heaviness that makes your spouse silent and your children distant, there is something Solomon recorded about the code of true wisdom that I must show you. He was the wisest man to ever live, and he left behind more than just proverbs. He left a blueprint for managing divine favor without collapsing under its weight. I have gathered this into a guide called the Code of Solomon's Wisdom. It is the tool that bridges the gap between your secret service and your visible reward. Keep that name in the back of your mind. But what happens to a seed that no one planted, that no one waters, and yet it insists on breaking through the concrete? That is the mystery of the exception that was opened over you today. You weren't supposed to survive the last few months, yet here you are, still standing, still hosting the presence. There is a reason the enemy is so desperate for you to turn away right now. He knows that in the next few minutes, I will tell you the exact time of night you've been waking up and what the angel has been waiting for you to say. The silence is about to break. You arrived here because something you did today opened an exception in heaven. The word was given, the decree was issued, but now begins the part that most people lose. Because between the moment you hosted that messenger in the street and the moment that favor actually unlocks the gate to your house, there is an interval that the enemy knows better than you do. It is in this interval that most chosen ones lose what was granted, not because the decree was revoked, but because you arrived home on Monday morning and didn't have the instrument to sustain it. Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived. And that is not a history book title. It is a biblical record signed by God himself. When he had the chance to ask for anything at all, he didn't ask for wealth or long life or the heads of his enemies. He asked for wisdom. And God was so moved by the request that he gave him the wisdom and gave him everything else along with it. He judged the dispute of the two mothers when no one else in the kingdom knew how to judge. He wrote 3,000 proverbs. He governed Israel at the historical peak that nation has seen before or since. The Queen of Sheba traveled for months by camel just to test this wisdom, and when she returned, she said that not even half had been told. And Jesus himself, Jesus in person, cited Solomon by name. And he didn't take this wisdom to the grave. He left it recorded with a surgical precision that has crossed 3,000 years without losing its edge. He left recorded how to stop missing the angel in the delay and stop repeating the cycle of missed divine appointments as if there were a pattern you couldn't break. He left recorded how to host the glory at your table so your spouse and children see the king in you, not just the tired laborer, so that your house finally feels the difference and doesn't need you just solved. It needs you present. And he left recorded how to walk with the posture of a host of heaven, recognizing the signals before the crisis hits. So you stop asking for advice from those who have no condition to give it. Stop deciding in the heat of pain, and stop believing in those who sell cheap miracles. I gathered this into a guide called the Code of Solomon's Wisdom. It is in the first pinned comment, right below here. It is the union of the wisdom of Proverbs with the principles of peaceful restoration, which take a person out of the state of survival and bring them into the state of clarity and decision. Solomon wrote it. I organized it for the common day you are living right now, in this week that begins tomorrow. Junto com o guia principal, vão dois instrumentos que eu coloquei ali, porque sem eles o guia teria buraco. O primeiro é The Ritual of the Righteous Sleep. 10 minutos antes de dormir, guiado pelo que Davi escreveu no Salmo 4:8. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. Not a modern relaxation technique. It is the act of handing over to the guard of him who does not sleep what you carried all day long, so that your soul stops performing sentinel duty over the worries you've hosted. For those who can no longer remember what it's like to lay down and have the mind close along with the eyes. The segundo é the awakening of clarity, the 7 morning decrees. 5 minutos ao acordar, before your phone, before your coffee, before the first message the world tries to write into you. 7 decretos pronunciados em voz própria, tirados da sabedoria de Proverbs, que posicionam o dia antes do dia te posicionar. Not a positive affirmation. It is a biblical decree in your own voice. Postura de herdeiro antes que o calendário, as contas e a rotina falem por você. To start the day as one who was called, not as one who was crushed before 8 in the morning. And the price, the price, less than a Starbucks coffee in the afternoon, less than a simple Sunday lunch with your family, less than a tank of gas to drive to church on Sunday. I put it at this price on purpose. Not because it is worth little, it is worth what Solomon left recorded for 3,000 years. I put it at this value so that the only obstacle between you and the instrument was your decision to reach out your hand. Not price, not schedule, not travel. Just your hand toward the link. And there is a garantia de 7 days. Se você abrir, usar por uma semana e não servir, você manda um e-mail, recebe o dinheiro de volta inteiro. And here is the part que ninguém faz. Você fica com os 2 instrumentos de bônus. The ritual of the righteous sleep stays with you. The awakening of clarity. The 7 morning decrees stays with you. Mesmo depois do reembolso. This is not a generous concession. It is the recognition that the risk of testing cannot be yours. The risk is ours. The only risk left for you is the risk of not testing. And the risk of not testing is the risk of leaving here with the decree open in heaven and losing it on Monday morning for lack of an instrument. A próxima noite em que você vai deitar a cabeça no travesseiro com a alma ainda em alerta não está há meses. It is tonight, talvez daqui a 3 horas. A próxima manhã em que você vai acordar pensando nas contas, nas batalhas, no que ainda não resolveu, começando o dia em desvantagem, é amanhã. Talvez em 6 horas. A próxima vez que sua família vai receber você descarregando o peso que o mundo colocou em cima de você, é amanhã à noite. Cada noite sem The Ritual of the Righteous Sleep é uma noite que seu corpo vai pagar. Cada manhã sem The Awakening of Clarity, The 7 Morning Decrees, é uma manhã que o mundo reescreve primeiro. Cada dia sem The Code of Solomon's Wisdom é um dia em que a casa sente, e você nem percebe que sente. O custo de adiar não é 0. Mas não saia agora. O selamento ainda não terminou. O que eu preciso te mostrar a seguir é maior do que qualquer instrumento que Solomon deixou registrado. It is the Hebrew name of what is happening to you at this very moment, the name of the exception, que foi aberta no céu por causa do que você fez hoje. And when you hear this name, you will entender por que tudo até aqui foi preparação para uma palavra só. Fique. You are not drifting in a sea of coincidences. You are being measured in a chamber of divine validation. The courts of heaven have watched how you hosted a guest you didn't recognize, and now 5 specific signals have been activated in your life to confirm that your kindness triggered a movement in the golden record. These are not signs of your failure, but markers of a mandate that is currently being weighed. If you recognize even 3 of these, you are no longer just a good person. You are a sentinel of the harvest who has been found faithful in the shadows. Pay close attention, because the 3rd signal will explain the heavy silence that has occupied your home for the last few weeks. The 1st signal is the unexplained heavy garment. You have felt a physical weight on your shoulders lately, a pressure that feels like wearing a thick winter coat in the height of summer. You've been trying to shake it off as stress or the beginning of a seasonal burnout. But I am here to tell you that this is the kavod, the weight of the glory from the encounter you hosted without knowing. This weight isn't there to crush you, it is there to identify you. You aren't suffering from exhaustion. You are carrying the atmospheric pressure of a divine visitor who left their footprint on your soul after you offered that cup of cold water. The second signal is the paralysis of the pattern. You are facing a choice regarding a resource or a person right now, and you feel completely stuck. It's a weight in your decision-making that you can't name. You see the same cycle repeating, the same mistakes you've already diagnosed but somehow cannot stop from happening again. It feels as if a door has locked perfectly in the spirit, and no matter how hard you push, it won't budge. This is the interruption of the sentinel. Heaven has halted your momentum to ensure you don't walk into the old trap while the new gate is being prepared by the very angel you shielded. The third signal is the table of the silent guest, and this is the one you must not ignore. You have been bringing the sentinel's weight home with you, and it has created a visible distance in your house. Your spouse has learned to stop asking how your day was because they've seen the armor you wear and don't know how to pierce it. Your children have stopped asking for your full attention because they see your eyes are elsewhere, fixed on a horizon of worries you haven't found the words to share. Even your grandchildren feel your touch but cannot find your presence. You have become a stranger at your own table, hosting the world's burdens while your family waits for the host they once knew. Before I give you the final two signals, we must lock this position in the spirit. This is an act of acknowledging the mantle you didn't ask for, but were chosen to wear. I want you to go to the comments right now and type, "I carry what no one else carries." Do it as a decree of identity. By typing those words, you are telling the spirit of weariness that its time is up and that you recognize the golden record is being written in your favor. This is the moment you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the host of your future. The fourth signal is the 3 o'clock alert. For the last 3 nights, you have been waking up at exactly the same time, and your mind immediately goes to a person you helped recently or a stranger you crossed paths with. Your soul is on permanent alert, patrolling problems in the dark, while your body cries out for rest. You wake up more tired than when you went to bed because the sentinel in you does not know how to step down from the watchtower. You see breaches opening in your day, resources leaking, time slipping away, and you feel like you are desperately trying to hold a shield that has become too heavy. The fifth signal is the mirror stranger. You looked in the mirror this morning, perhaps just for a split second, and you didn't recognize the authority in your own eyes. You saw a hidden general instead of a weary laborer. You felt a flicker of a power you haven't used yet, a sense that you are standing at a threshold you are not yet authorized to cross. This is the spirit of the sentinel recognizing its true rank. You are no longer who you were before you extended that hand to the traveler. You have been upgraded in the secret place, and your own reflection is the first to testify of the change. You must understand that you are currently in a pressure chamber. Imagine a piece of coal being squeezed by the weight of the entire earth. To the coal, it feels like destruction. It feels like the end of its existence. But to the Creator, it is the only way to produce a diamond. Every signal of pressure you are feeling, the weight on your shoulders, the silence in your home, the paralysis in your decisions, is the hand of God applying the necessary force to turn your hidden service into a visible crown. You are not being crushed, you are being crystallized for the display that follows the winter. There is a word in Hebrew that defines exactly what you carry and why you have been found pleasing in the eyes of the Father. This word is the secret of the sentinel, and it explains why you were chosen to host the guest that changed everything. When I reveal this word to you in a few moments, the last 4 months of silence will finally make sense. You will never look at your exhaustion the same way again, because you will realize that every moment you stood guard was being recorded as a legal release for your household. Feek. Before I give you the Hebrew name for the mantle you are currently wearing, I must remind you of something critical. The instrument that Solomon left registered, the tool I mentioned at the very beginning, it does not replace the name you are about to receive. It exists to help you sustain that name in the common day after the revelation is over. The name gives you the rank, but the instrument gives you the ability to rule from that rank without collapsing under the weight of the glory. This is why the order matters. First I give you the name, then I put the instrument in your hand. Stay with me now, because we are approaching the threshold. The dust from the traveler's sandals is being cleared from your porch, and the sound of the door locking perfectly is echoing in the heavens. I'm about to tell you the exact time you've been waking up, and the three-layer secret of the word Shamar. You have hosted the messenger. Now it is time for the host of heaven to reveal the reward that has been sealed for you. The silence is breaking, and the sentinel is about to be invited to the king's table. Fik. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Place your hand over your heart right now, where the weight of the kavod has been resting. You are not just a spectator watching a screen. You are standing in a sacred chamber of revelation. The air around you is changing because you have finally acknowledged your presence at the post. The dust from the traveler's sandals is being swept from your porch, and the door to your house is locking perfectly in the spirit. You have lived through a season of silence that felt like a sentence, but I am here to tell you that this period has a name in the golden record of heaven. It is a name that turns your exhaustion into an archive of authority, the name of the state you are in. The name of the mantle you have been wearing while hosting the divine is Shamar Kiu. In the common tongues of men, they might translate this word simply as to watch or to keep. They see it as a passive act, like a man standing still in the dark. But in the language of the courts, in the frequency where Solomon walked, Shamar is a word of high-level military and spiritual preservation. It is not just watching, it is being the hedge, the guardian, the one who preserves the essence of a thing while the world tries to steal it. You haven't been just waiting these last 4 months. You have been in a state of Shamar. The first layer of Shamar is the layer of the threshold. It defines the moment you extended that cup of cold water to the stranger, the moment you shielded someone in need when you were already at your own limit. This act was registered as a reflex of the sentinel. You didn't do it for a reward. You did it because the Ishamar nature in you couldn't do otherwise. While you were guarding that unseen pedestrian, the golden record was capturing the sudden warmth in the room. You were hosting a guest of heaven, and by protecting their path, you were unknowingly applying the first level of the code to your own destiny. The second layer is the layer of the hidden general. This is why you have felt that unexplained heavy garment on your shoulders. You aren't being crushed by stress. You are being prepared in a pressure chamber, because a general is only recognized after they have held the line in the silence. You have been walking through your home like a sentinel, carrying the weight of the glory while your mind patrolled the problems of those you love. This is the Shamar mandate in action, preserving the peace of your spouse and children, even when your own soul was on permanent alert. You were keeping watch so they wouldn't have to. The Lord himself has seen your watch. He has watched the watcher. There is a specific promise for the one who hosts the divine in the shadows, recorded in the very breath of the king. Hear it now, not as a familiar song, but as a legal release over your house. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. This is Psalm 121:7 in its ancient power. When it says he shall preserve, it uses your word, Shamaro. Because you were at Shamarwa for his messenger, he has become the Shamarit for your soul. He is guarding the gate you were too tired to close, but it is the third layer of Shamar that will break the paralysis of the last 4 months. This is the layer of the locked archive. You thought your prayers were bouncing off a brass ceiling, but they were actually being sealed in a vault of time. A seed doesn't grow in the winter because the earth is mean to it. It stays hidden because the shamaras of the soil is protecting it from the frost until the sun is ready. Your revelation was locked to keep it safe from the spirit of weariness. Today, the code has been entered. The archive is opening. The silence wasn't a lack of God's pleasure. It was the thickness of his protection. You must understand this. This period of your life has a name before it has an end. By naming it Shamar, you are stripping the enemy of the right to call it failure or exhaustion. You are a sentinel of the harvest. You have been found faithful in the shadows of the delay, the random moment you stopped to help, the accidental delay that put you in the path of the angel. These were the coordinates of your promotion. You aren't walking home as a weary laborer tonight. You are walking home as a host of heaven who finally understands the rank he holds. Now that you know the name of what you carry, I must show you that you are not the first to stand at this threshold. Long before you, a man named Gideon was saving his wheat in the winepress, acting as a sentinel for his family's survival while the world was being stripped bare. He was hosting the divine in a place of fear, not knowing he was already a mighty man of valor. What happened to him under that oak tree is the mirror of what is happening to you right now. Someone carried this weight before you, and what they discovered will change how you view your resources forever. I promise to come back to this, and I will. Feek, you are standing in the exact same dust where a man named Gideon once stood, hiding his wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites who were stripping the land bare. For 7 years, he lived in a desert of silence, watching his resources leak and his family's peace evaporate. Yet he never stopped being the sentinel for his household's survival. He was a guardian of the crumbs, a keeper of the shadows, and just like you, he thought his exhaustion was a sign that God had forgotten the coordinates of his field. He was operating on a frequency of survival, but his receptor was about to be tuned to the frequency of a king. When the angel appeared under the oak at Ophrah, Gideon didn't recognize the rank of his visitor. He only saw a traveler in need of rest. He hosted the divine in the middle of his own crisis, offering what little he had left, a cup of cold water and a modest meal, not knowing that this act of kindness was the key that unlocked the golden record. He was a host of heaven before he was a general of Israel. But Gideon didn't just need a miracle. He needed a specific kind of applied wisdom to transition from a fearful farmer to a strategic commander without collapsing under the weight of the new mantle he had just received. The moment of wisdom came when Gideon prepared his sacrifice upon the rock. He didn't just throw it there. He followed a protocol, a map of spiritual alignment that turned a simple meal into a divine bridge. He used the sacrifice as an instrument to validate the frequency he was hearing, ensuring that his decision wasn't born from the heat of his pain, but from the clarity of the commission. He stopped asking for advice from the fearful men in his village and began to rely on the blueprint that only the host of heaven could provide. His invisible preparation in the winepress was suddenly revealed as a visible authority that could lead an army with just 300 men. You are that Gideon. You have been saving the wheat of your family's peace while the world tries to strip you bare. Every time you chose to help a stranger, while your own soul was weary, you were refining your receptor, tuning it to the frequency of the courts. Your acts of service were the sacrifices that paved the way for the names I am about to declare over you. Before I speak them, I need you to do something that is an act of intercession. Click the like button on this video right now. Each like is a person who is currently trapped in their own winepress, needing to hear that their sentinel duty is being rewarded. You are not doing this for me. You are doing it for the one whose shield is slipping. Now, stand at your post and receive these decrees. The atmosphere has shifted because the golden record is open and the ink is still wet on your new commission. I speak these names not as a wish, but as a legal release from the throne to your front door. Receive the first name. You are the keeper of the threshold. This is the name of permanence. It is the decree that you are the one who stands firm when the night is longest, the one who guards the entrance to your home so that no spirit of weariness or lack can follow you inside. You are the firm boundary between the world's chaos and your family's sanctuary. Receive the second name. You are the host of the unseen. This is the name of authority. It is the decree that your house is no longer just a building, but a designated sanctuary for divine movements. Because you hosted the messenger in the street, you are now authorized to host the king's favor at your dinner table. The heavy silence that once occupied your home is being replaced by the weight of the kavod. From this moment on, your presence in a room will change the atmosphere before you even speak a word, because you carry the frequency of the host. Receive the third name. You are the sentinel of the harvest. This is the name of envy. It is the decree that you have been sent to guard the gates of the blessing that is arriving this week. The enemy has tried to steal your fruit before it could ripen, but as a sentinel of the harvest, you have the legal right to command the restoration of every resource that leaked during the months of silence. You are no longer watching for the crisis, you are watching over the increase. You are the guardian of the bounty that was triggered by your cup of cold water. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. These three names are now synchronizing your receptor to a level of power you have never operated in before. The paralysis of the old patterns is breaking because a sentinel of the harvest does not move by fear, but by the map of the king. The stranger you saved has returned your kindness by opening the gate that was stuck for years. Your house is about to feel the difference of a host who knows his rank. But there is something the enemy is absolutely desperate for you to ignore about these three names. He knows that as long as you carry them, he loses his primary weapon against you. He has been using a specific shadow to cloud your vision, and he knows that if you see through it in the next 60 seconds, his hold on your Monday morning is destroyed forever. There is a final layer to the secret of the sentinel that Solomon guarded with his life, and it is the only thing standing between your names and your manifestation. Feek, you are not losing, you are operating without the map. The adversary has been watching you since the moment you saved that angel, and he has a specific file on your exhaustion. He knows your shield is heavy, he knows your home is quiet, and he is counting on your ignorance of his strategy. But the courts of heaven have authorized a disclosure. I am putting the strategic battle map in your hands right now. This is not about feeling better. It is about recognizing the threefold ambush designed to make you drop your harvest before Monday morning. The first tactic is the erosion of comparison. The enemy wants you to look at everyone else's green shoots while you are still a seed buried in the winter soil. He whispers that your cup of cold water was just a coincidence and that others are being rewarded while you are being ignored. This mirrors the pattern of error he's tried to trap you in before, making you doubt the value of your invisible service. Your weapon is the decree of singularity. Stop looking at the field next to yours. Speak what God said over you, that you are the keeper of the threshold. Your trajectory is unique because your guest was unique. The second tactic is the erosion of perception. He is using the table of the silent guest against you. He wants you to interpret the heavy silence in your home and the desert of the last 4 months as a sign of divine rejection. He wants you to believe that the wall you built to protect your family is actually a cage of isolation. Your weapon is the memory of the altar. Recall that sudden warmth in the cold room when you helped that stranger. That was not an emotion, it was a recorded encounter. Use that memory to silence the lie of abandonment. The third tactic is the erosion of persistence. The adversary knows you are exactly 24 hours away from the gate unlocking. He knows the golden record is about to release the reward for the sentinel. His goal is to make you give up at the very threshold of the breakthrough, precisely when you are most tired. He wants you to stop hosting the divine and just become a weary laborer again. Your weapon is last-second resistance. You don't need to run, you just need to stand firm. A sentinel's greatest victory is often just being found at the post when the sun rises. Before we move to the sealing prayer, you must make a final act of spiritual positioning. Subscribe to this channel right now, not as a spectator, but as a sentinel aligning with the frequency of the host. By joining this company, you are telling the spirit of weariness that you are keeping your receptor tuned to the King's frequency. This is your decree that you will not walk into tomorrow's battle without your map. Position yourself now, because the seal is about to be applied to your house and your identity. You have the names. You have the instrument of wisdom. You have the battle map. The enemy's files on your life are being burned in the fire of this revelation. You are no longer the unseen pedestrian in your own story. You are the hidden general who has been found faithful in the winepress. The Midianites of your mind are retreating because they see the torch of Shammah that you are carrying. The atmosphere of your home is shifting as we speak, from the silence of exhaustion to the silence of holy anticipation. Now that you know exactly what you are dealing with and exactly what you have to fight with, there is a final act that cannot be skipped. Knowledge without application is just more weight for the sentinel to carry. We have deconstructed the lie of the coincidence and built the altar of the encounter. But there is a prayer that needs to be made. Not a general prayer for the world, but a specific prayer for the person who hosted the angel and forgot to ask for their own rest. This prayer is not for me to say while you listen. It is for you to receive while the courts are in session. It is the prayer of threshold peace, the legal release that tells your soul it can step down from the watchtower because the King himself has taken over the watch. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Let the kavod settle on you. The last word is coming, and it is the word your family has been waiting to hear for months. Stay. Close your eyes now. Place both hands over your chest. right where you have felt the heavy garment of the sentinel resting for so long. Take a deep breath before we proceed. Let the air fill your lungs and carry away the dust of the road you've walked, the grit of the winepress where you've been hiding your wheat. You're not just hearing words on a screen. You are standing in a sacred chamber of the courts, and the king is ready to move from the golden record to your very heart. Father, I stand before you with your child, who has been found faithful in the shadows of the delay. We confess the weight of the armor that has become too heavy to carry alone. We confess the exhaustion of a body that patrolled the darkness while the world slept, of a mind that looked for patterns in the ruins of past mistakes, and of a heart that tried to shield a family while breaking in secret. We acknowledge that the sentinel is tired, and we lay the shield at your feet right now at the threshold of this new day. We receive the names that were written in gold today. We receive the rank of the keeper of the threshold, the authority of the host of the unseen, and the protection of the sentinel of the harvest. Let the kavod, the weight of this glory, no longer feel like a burden of stress, but like the mantle of a general. We open our receptors now, tuning them away from the frequency of survival and toward the frequency of the throne. Speak, Lord, for your host is listening. I have seen you in the nights when you stared at the ceiling and the tightness in your chest arrived before your first conscious thought. I was the one standing in the room at 3 in the morning when you woke up with your mind already on patrol, trying to fix problems that hadn't even reached your door yet. I watched you carry the weight of the alert, and I recorded every hour you stood watch over the peace of others, while your own body cried out for the rest I had promised you. I have seen you in the decisions you made in the heat of desperation, when clarity felt like a luxury you couldn't afford. I saw you wake up the next morning with the bitter taste of an error you had already diagnosed, but didn't know how to avoid. I saw your hands tremble as you reached for a resource or a person, fearing the cycle would repeat. Yet I marked how you still chose to extend that cup of cold water to my traveler, despite the paralysis in your own soul. I saw you walking through your front door, discharging the weight the world put on your shoulders, onto the ones you love most. I saw the look in your spouse's eyes when they learned to stop asking, because they couldn't reach the soul behind your armor. I saw your children wait for a presence that was fixed on a horizon of worries, and I saw your grandchildren feel your touch while they couldn't find your heart. I saw the pain this caused you, and I saw that you hosted my messenger even when you felt you had nothing left for your own house. Because you shielded the traveler in the delay, I have shielded your name in the courts. The seed you thought was dying in the frozen ground of winter has finally broken its shell. The roots have gone deep into the promise, and the first green shoot is breaking through the surface even as I speak. The silence of the desert was not my absence. It was the thickness of my protection over your transformation. The winepress is empty because the general has been called to the field. Hear the decree of the throne. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Hear the seal of the Spirit. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Hear the authority of the host. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. The winter is over, and the harvest you guarded is now yours to host. The earth that seemed dead has produced life because you stayed at your post. The circle is complete. Don't say amen yet. Stay here in this wait. Let the names settle into your spirit until they feel more real than your exhaustion. Let the sound of the door locking perfectly echo in your soul. Stay in the silence of the host. Now you may say amen. What was sealed here will be tested on the first Monday morning. When the alarm rings, when the routine returns, and when the voice of the cycle tries to reread what happened today as a passing emotion of a Sunday night. The enemy does not accept without a fight what was just decreed over you. And he who was commissioned without an instrument walks in the open field without what Solomon left recorded exactly for this moment. The exception was opened in heaven. Now it needs to survive the common day. The Code of Solomon's wisdom is in the first pinned comment, right below here. Not as a substitute for what you received in this message, but as a companion to defend what was sealed, because a decree without an instrument rots on the first Monday morning, and the adversary counts on Monday. It is less than a Starbucks coffee in the afternoon, less than a Saturday afternoon snack. It comes with a guarantee of 7 days and the 2 bonus instruments, the ritual of the righteous sleep and the awakening of clarity, the 7 morning decrees, which stay with you even if it doesn't serve you. The risk is ours. The hand is yours. Click now, while the decree is still alive in your chest. Not tomorrow, not after your shower, not after talking to someone, because those who leave it for later leave it for never, and the adversary counts on later. He has already counted on later in every other message you received and postponed. He counts on later now too. This will not be another one. And now, the last word. There is someone in your circle carrying exactly what you carried until today, hosting an unseen pedestrian without knowing. Someone who will arrive home tonight, discharging the same weight onto those they love. Someone who will lay their head on the pillow with the same soul on alert. This person will not stop scrolling on their own. They need someone to send this. That someone is you. This is not sharing a video, it is interceding. Now close your eyes, breathe 3 times, and remain in silence until the video ends. What was done here needs to land. Don't scroll. Don't leave, stay.